All right, so this last lesson is going to be volume of pyramids and prisms. So basically, in the past, you've done surface area and volume. These we're just going to do volume. And so the first big formula we're going to be talking about is for the pyramid. The pyramid volume formula is 1/3 your base times your height. And so we're going to talk about your base. So there's different types of bases that you can have for a pyramid. For example, this one has a square base, so we would need to use the formula for the area of a square to do this one. Then there's a triangle base, so we'd use the area for a triangle theorem. Then there's a pentagon, which we actually will use our polygon formula for this one. So we can do it with any type of size, hexagon. So there's multiple different pyramids that we can have. Most of the time, most common one is a square. But that's how we would find our volume of our pyramid. The prism is very, very similar. However, we don't have a 1/3. We just find the area of the base and multiply it times the height. So that's pretty much the whole lesson. So we're just going to look at different examples, and then I'll run through some practice problems with y'all. So let's look at this first one. So the first step would be to select the proper formula. Okay, we know this is a pyramid. So I know the formula I'm going to use for volume will be 1/3 base times height. Okay, so that's something we want to kind of write out. Then we're going to find the area of the shape's base. There really should be an apostrophe here. Sorry about that. The shape's possessive. You're going to learn some English here too. Shape's base. So we got to look at this. Okay, this is a triangle. So the area of a triangle, I'm going to do a little shorthand, is 1/2 your base times your height. So I'm going to plug that in 1/2. My base is 6. Okay, and that's where my right angle is. And then our height, be careful, our height is not this slanted height right here. It's the height of, like if we were gonna flip this on its side, it's with the right angle. So 8 is my height. Okay, so just be careful with that because I've seen a lot of people make mistakes where they'll use 10 as the height when 8 is our actual height. Okay, so 6 times 8 is 48, divided by 2 is 24. Okay, so we have the area of our base. And then down here, we're just gonna plug this B is equal to 24. So we're going to plug that 24 in for B. So to find our volume. So 1/3 24 times 24 times our height. And our height is just that line that goes straight up our pyramid. So 10. So when I put this whole thing in my calculator, I should get 80. And then we have miles cubed. Okay, so that's pretty much it for pyramid. Here's another example. Good old area of polygons. We're going to throw them back. But the area of our base, like I said, is a polygon. We got to figure out which one it is. So let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sides. So for area of our base, we need to use our formula, which is, we'll just do A is equal to 1/2 your apothem times your perimeter. So we need to find our perimeter first. Let's find our perimeter. So if we have 6 sides and each of these sides are 6 centimeters, we can do 6 times 6, which is 36. And then our A is actually given to us. So for these problems, it'll be a lot easier. In the past, we've had to use trig to find this. Really, it's just pointing straight to it right here. So this is 5.2. So we're just going to plug it in 1/2 5.2 times 36. And again, all these formulas are going to be on the area of your polygon, the area of a triangle. I think that's on there. You should know what the area of a triangle is. But all of these formulas will be on your test or on your formula sheet, so you don't have to worry about that. But we'll put this in our calculator, and we get 93.6. All right, and then we're going to use this as the area of our base. So we're just do the volume formula for again, this is still a pyramid, is 1/3 my base times my height. My base is 93.6. So I'm going to do 1/3 93.6 times my height, which is 9. And so I'll plug that in my calculator and I will get 280.8 centimeters cubed. All right. So that is how you find area for a pyramid, or not area, volume for a pyramid. So we're gonna go into some cylinder notes. And if you wanna have your formula sheet ready too, that'll kind of help you. This right here, we haven't really talked about the area of a trapezoid before, but that's why I'm giving you guys these handy dandy formula sheet. So the area of a trapezoid right here is 1/2 at times adding your two bases added together times the height. So what it means by the two bases, these are our two bases of our trapezoid. Okay, so when we're finding the area of our base, we're looking for those two shapes that are exactly the same that lie on either side of our cylinder. So notice, like, these are not the same shape. This is like a different sized rectangle than this one. So we're looking for the exact same measurements on either side, and this is going to be classified as our base. Okay, so again, the formula for a trapezoid is 1/2 your two bases added together times your height. Okay, so I'm going to look at this side of this trapezoid. I know one base is 4 feet, and the other base, we have to kind of look over here, is 11 feet. So if you want to kind of mark that on there, 11 feet. So these are this is B, let's just call this one B1, this is B2. All right, so I'm going to plug these two into there. So we get 1/2 4 plus 11 times my height, which, be careful, the height of my trapezoid, that's why they have this right angle coming down, will be 6.1. All right, and when I put that in my calculator, I should get 42.7. Okay, and if you want to put it in your calculator, double check me, you can. All right, but that'll be the area of our base. Then the volume for a cylinder is just your base times your height. Okay, so I'm going to take this base that I found. So the most important part for these is finding that correct base. And then I will multiply by our height. Okay, and my height is just this length right here. So I have to check all of them. Okay, this one tells me, okay, it's 8. This is my height for my cylinder. Notice the cylinder is kind of laying on its side. We usually think of cylinders are up and down. Okay, but the height would be kind of over to its side. And so that would be equal to, I'm trying to find it on my paper. It'll be 341.6 feet cubed. Okay. All right, so let's try another one with our polygon, okay? I'm going through some harder examples. There will be other examples that have like squares and rectangles as bases and stuff, but I'm mostly going over the ones that will be a little harder. So the area of the base here, again for a polygon, is your 1/2 times your apothem times your perimeter. Okay, the apothem is given to me, so I can go ahead and write that out. It's 4.8. Y'all are like, thank you, Ms. Garner, for giving me the apothem. I know, you don't have to do that trig this time around. You will, like, don't forget about it because we're still going to have it on the test, but you won't have to do it for these problems. They'll turn into very long problems if that was the case. So we have our apothem, and then we got to do the same thing, find our perimeter. We know this is 7. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So we do 7 times 5, which is 35. And then we're just going to plug those in. 1/2, 4.8 times 35. And then I get 84. Okay, and you can write miles squared if you want. All right, and then we're going to find our volume. The volume for my cylinder is, again, base times your height. We have our base, which is 84. And then our height, which is just all of these, is 6. All right, and then so that would be 504 miles cubed. All right, so that is basically it. If you want to pause the video and try the practice problems, we're about to go over those real quick. But that is how you find the volume of cones and pyramid, or not cones, cylinders. No, what am I saying? Prisms and pyramids. I think I said cylinders earlier. Sorry about that, y'all. Pregnancy brain. But yeah, go ahead and walk through the pyramids and the prisms that we have on this paper, and we'll go over the answers. All right, so here we go. We're gonna do the first one. So my base here is a triangle. So I'm gonna just do AB as the area of my base. That's what that's gonna symbolize. You can use something else if you want. If you just want to use A, you can. But the area of my triangle is 1/2 my base, which is 3, times my height, which is 4. Be careful you don't put 5, okay? 4 is the height. All right, and so that's equal to 6. And then my volume, since this is a pyramid, is 1/3 6, which is my area of my base, times my height, which is 4. And so my answer here would be 8 inches cubed. Okay, so hopefully you got that one right. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2, the area of my base is this polygon here. So I'm going to do 1/2 my apothem, which is 4.1. And I'm going to do this part in my head. I know that this is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 6 is 30. So I'm going to go ahead and just write 30 here. If you need to write perimeter over the side and do 6 times 5, you can. But we should be able to do that pretty quick. So when we do that, find the area of our base is 61.5. So my volume equals 1/3 10 times 61.5. And that is 205 miles cubed. All right, so that should be your answer. Hopefully you're getting these right. You should just be checking yourself. All right, so this one's pretty nice. This is a square. I like that. So the area of our base here, since it's a square, is 5 times 5, which is 25. Okay, and then we have our volume. This is still a pyramid. So we're doing our base times our height, 1/3 base times height, which is 5. Put that in our calculator, and we should get 41.67 centimeters cubed. Okay, and one other thing I meant to mention, when you're putting this 1/3 in your calculator, a little trick would be to write 1 divided by 3 in parentheses times 25 times 5 if you wanted to put it all in at once. Another thing you could do is go ahead and do 25 times 5 and then divide everything by 3. Those are two different ways, but just kind of want to go over that real quick on how you put a fraction in your calculator. All right, so let's move on to this one. This is the rectangle. So we know the area of our base, since our base is a rectangle, would just be our base times our height. Base times our height, it would equal 28. Okay, and then our volume is 1/3 our base times our height, which is 11. Okay, and when we put that in our calculator, we get 102.67 kilometers cubed. Okay. All right, so that's all the practice problems for the pyramids. Let's go on to our prisms. Okay, not cones. I don't know why I said cones earlier. No, or cylinders, whatever I said. Prisms. So here we go. Let's do our base. Remember, our base is just 2 matching shapes. We only have 2 of them. We don't have like 6 of them, right? So our base is it's a polygon, so we gotta do 1/2 our apothem, which is right here, which is 4.1. I don't know why I didn't write AB. Our apothem times our perimeter. So again, our perimeter is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 times 5, which is 30. Okay. And again, if this is too much for you to jump to, go ahead and go back to those videos we were talking about and like walk through each step with me. The apothem is this right here, and then your perimeter, I'm just doing 6 times 5 to save some time. Okay. And then, so that would be 61.5. I put that on my calculator. And then our volume here is our base, which is 61.5 times our height, which is 9. Okay, and then, so notice with a prism, you don't have to multiply by 130, you just multiply your base times our height, or your height. So that will equal 553.5 centimeters cubed. We'll put our calculator. All right, let's move on to the next one. So our base is just two shapes that are across from each other. So we have, it's a triangle as our base, so the area of our base would be 1/2 our base, which is 3, times our height, which is 4, so that's equal to 6. And then our volume is just our base times our height, which is 10, so that's 60 inches cubed. And notice we're not using this 5 at all. This 5 is there to distract you and try to confuse you and make you get the problem wrong, so just ignore it. All right, so let's go down to these. Our base here is a rectangle, so area of our base is base times height, so it's just 2. And then the volume is base times height, which is base, this kind of base, times our height, which is 4. So our volume is 8. Something which should have been pretty easy. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the last one. The area of our base is our 1/2 our apothem, all right, because this is a polygon, and times our perimeter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5. So 9 times 5, our perimeter would be 45. Okay, so I'm doing some steps in my head. I'm finding the perimeter in my head. So hopefully you guys can do that. Just do 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 is 45. And so that would equal 139.5. And then so our volume is our base, which is 139, times our height, which is 10. Okay, so our answer is 1,395 inches cubed. Okay, and that is it. So that is the volume of our pyramids and prisms. If you have any questions or if I went too fast, feel free to pause it and rewind. But this is our last official lesson for the year. So you guys did awesome. Finished strong. See y'all soon. Bye.